This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Kevin Jackson,
my man.
It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal.
Hark.
That the rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened.
Do you understand the power this gives us?
We want to welcome you to the new By All Means Necessary podcast. I am your co-host, Hark Henry, and I am here with my brother, my friend, my co-host, my partner,
Kevin Jackson.
My man, retired police officer, Kevin Jackson. You know that's your first name now, retired police officer.
Yeah.
And your whole last name.
I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or bad thing. All depends on where I'm at.
Well, this is our intro episode. Kevin and I partnered up on my previous podcast that I have with my wife, The Her, called the Thursday Podcast, which you can hear on Anchor.fm, Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. On that podcast, we talk a lot about relationships and marriage and, some self-love type of things. Kevin and I did an episode called See Me Without Prejudice, where we were addressing all the issues about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and some of the procedures police do not follow when it comes to approaching people of color. We really, really went deep into that. And we got a lot of good and positive feedback. I think actually that was, of all my podcasts in that season, that got a lot of points on it. That episode, of course, kind of deviated from the content that me and my wife were initially doing. So Kevin and I decided to get together and start our own podcast. And this podcast is directed at issues directly affecting our communities, and we are only bringing dialogue that brings solutions. We want dialogue that has supporting facts and information behind it. How we can address issues that we already know exist instead of just kind of listen to people talking. We want action. We're going to do action. We're going to be out there.
Yeah. One of the things I want to talk about real quick is the name itself. Mm-hmm. By all means necessary. I came up with that because the way that we like to dialogue, a lot of times in the Black community, sometimes it's an absolute thing where I come up with a solution and someone who doesn't agree with it either goes about the way or they want to argue and fuss about it.
Right. My
thing is inclusion. I think if your heart is in the right place and you come up with something that you truly believe that will work, and like Joe said, you can support it by facts, by history, by even works that you've already done.
Right.
Then that's something that, we want to hear about and also put into action, because everybody knows that our community, just like any other community, we have so many different things going on that there's no one solution.
Right.
And I don't know everything. I've been told that, but I don't. I believe that there's certain things I don't even dialogue about because I just don't know about them.
Right.
So what I want to do is bring in the dialogue, but also bring in us to listen, to mull it over, and let that person, even if it's me, to be able to support what you're saying and why you're saying it and how you think that's going to be a solution in the Black community. And one other thing is, by all means necessary. It's all necessary.
Right.
Because we need to take action now. We can no longer sit back and wait for somebody at the top to bring something down to us and say it's a solution. They're going to take the easy way out. They're going to take the least amount of kickback from the entire system. They're going to use that. They're going to do that and make it easy for themselves. That's because they're always going to be outside of our community. We're looking for people within the community that's going to suffer or that's going to be able to get the results or even the accolades for doing it at this level, at that ground level. When you're up there, your politicians or whatever, and you'll get to know me and you'll know that I'm not a big fan of politicians, but we need them. But when you're on the ground floor, when you're in the grass, when the bullets are coming towards your head, you don't want somebody from the top telling you which way to look. Right. You already know where it's coming from.
Right.
And so now we have to sit and do something about it. We have to stand to do something about it. And we got to be about doing something in our community. We can no longer sit by and wait for somebody to come in and say, this is what you need. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be right.
Right. And my thing about the community is where I come from, we always had something going on from the schools to the churches to your family.
Yeah.
You always had your family involved in something. Nowadays, it's like the families, you put the kid involved in something and the family go the other way.
Right.
And there's that disconnect coming, and which I don't understand, like now being the age of information with the internet, where everything's connected together.
Right.
Things should not be getting worse. Things should be getting way, way better as far as making your kids knowledgeable about things, being informed or included into the things that your children are involved in. Because back in the day, man, like I had an NWA tape. We had tapes and CDs.
Right.
So, you know, it was easy for me to misplace that or something, or my dad didn't know about it.
Right.
But now you got the internet, man. Parents, you have the control of the internet,
right,
or the Wi-Fi. You have control of their cell phones. They can't get a cell phone without you, your children, your small children. Mm-hmm. Why are we not more involved in what's going on? And I think when we're more involved with our families and our children, we'll get the communities together, man. There's really no sense for a lot of this stuff that's going on.
I think that I'm a child of the 70s and the early 80s.
Right.
So when I grew up, you know, if you wanted to get in touch with me on the phone, you better hope I'm home.
Right.
Because that's it.
Right.
I mean, you know, somebody might take a note or something like that. Maybe you're gonna catch me in person, or you're gonna just get lucky that I'm at the house.
Right.
I think what happened, and it's just my opinion, but the things that I've seen as I've gotten older, is that somebody told our parents that it was all good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because Black people were prospering just like everybody else. Maybe not as fast. But I think what happened is that the parents were told, and the young people that are coming up to be parents, that it's all equal now. And it's all good. And it really has never been that way.
Shouldn't be that way.
And we allowed other people to tell our children how to act, who to be, what Black is. And
it's okay.
And it was, and again, like I said at the beginning, when you're looking at solutions outside of the community, there's going to be an ulterior motive. Mm-hmm. And that motive is money.
Right.
So if I can get you to listen to a particular kind of music that I control, then that translates into money. Right. We don't really care if I'm controlling everything. We don't care what the outcome is in a community that I don't live in.
Right.
You know, or even what we showing them. You know, what we showing how to be Black on TV or how to be Black in movies. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to define that. That was defined by somebody else. And that was a person who was disconnected from our community. Right. Because they don't have to get the repercussions of that. You know, there are people killing each other in Columbus and other cities like it, but that repercussions doesn't come all the way out. It stays right there. Right. So as long as it's there, then we're still prospering from it. When I say we, I'm talking about those people in power. Mm-hmm. If they're still profiting from it, what do they care? Right. They don't. And that's the one thing about all means necessary. When I say all, I'm talking about us. I'm talking about the Black people in the Black community who have to deal with the repercussions generation through generation. Right. My great-grandkids are going to be dealing with the same thing that my grandkids and my kids are dealing with if we don't change something. Mm-hmm. Those other people that are in charge, those people who are in power, if they remain in power, they're going to remain just disassociated with us. Right. So we have to either do it on our own, and that's my thing. You got to do it on your own. You got to show people that we care about ourselves. Right. You know, Black Lives Matter. It has to matter to us as well. Right. And our kids, they are believing something different. Right. We got to tell our kids how to believe, what to believe. Right. That word that you said, as long as those people are in power, that kind of sticks out to me because that's directly like talking about we need to educate our own communities about voting. Yes. We need to vote. Yeah. Man, because you want to start that now. No, we just putting it all together, bro. But a lot of, because even my friends that are 40, 50, 30, 40, 50, we always have, voting doesn't matter. Voting doesn't matter. Dude, did you just pay attention to this last election? Yes. Before the election, yes. During the election, and after? It matters. Did you peep the anxiety that was going on in Georgia on both sides? Right. I mean, them people knew what that meant. Right. And then did you hear Trump trying to get those extra 11,000 votes? Your vote matters. Right. Now, after the election,
your vote matters so much, they want to make sure it don't matter.
You don't,
going forward. They're trying to change how you stand in line. You get arrested for giving somebody water. What?
And my thing is this, man, and I said it when they start coming out, we got to be careful about the media as well, because their job is to sell news. Mm-hmm. So if they can keep that controversy going, if they can keep you thinking that, they're trying to get you to do this and they're trying to get you to do that, I'm sorry, I'm a grown man. And if I want to do something, I'm going to do it.
Right.
So if you want to vote, vote. Don't listen to, they're trying to put this in the way, and vote anyway.
Right.
That's I'm going to get a T-shirt and going to say vote anyway.
Right.
Whatever they put in front of you, vote anyway.
That might be on the new www.sonsofspphillips.com website.
Hey.
Vote anyway.
Because if you look at it like this, if apathy itself is something that politicians look for, they say apathy is the friend of all politicians. If a politician can figure out what a community doesn't care about, that's easy.
Yeah.
They can dismiss them.
Right.
If they don't think that they're going to vote, why would I come see you? Because I want to get your vote. So
right.
You're showing them that if I got to go and get an ID, I ain't trying to do that. Mm-hmm. Then why would I even put my effort out? All you got to do is go down there and get them $8 and take a picture and walk out. You mm-hmm. don't need to drive. You don't have to get an ID. I'm not saying that it's right mm-hmm. that they put that provision in there, but vote anyway.
Right.
Because you got to show them that irregardless of what you do, I'm going to do this. So y'all can just stop. My grandmama ain't got a birth certificate. We got 8 months to get her one.
Yeah.
So just do that. Stop trying to fight the power on the power's level.
Yeah. Because
they know what to do. I think me and you had a conversation one time on the phone about this. Everybody, when Abrams, and is that her name Abrams,
mm-hmm.
Stacey Abrams, they were down there in Georgia and they fought hard. I mean, this woman need all accolades that she gets, she deserves, because mm-hmm. she put that all together and she turned that around and she got those two people voted in. But at the same time, everybody was screaming about how they trying to get us not to vote, blah, blah, blah. Nobody talked about the census and how in the black community, the census has notoriously been confused as a conspiracy.
Yeah.
You don't want them in your business, blah, blah, blah. You cash a check, the government's all up in your business.
Yeah. You got a cell phone in your business.
Yeah, you got a cell phone in your name, you're done. So, but nobody talked about it. Well, what happened when Black people now are underrepresented because they decided not to, because we didn't do a whole campaign about getting into the census and making sure mm-hmm. that you're counted as we've done in the past.
Right.
What happened? They get to change where the boundaries are.
Yep.
So without even making you go get an ID, they were able to change the district that you vote for. So basically, if you're in a district that now some Black people, for some whatever reason, have disappeared, now they're saying that it's mostly going to be a Republican district. Mm-hmm. So then they cluster them so they make sure that it's a Republican district.
Yep.
So basically, when you go to the polls, you're almost not counted because they're already telling the people you're all Republicans. And then the Republicans can win that district based on the people that are there.
Yeah.
So so they know how to play that game on that level. We need to play the game on our level. Mm-hmm. We need to get our people out there to vote. We need to tell them, stop giving them excuses.
Vote anyway.
Yeah.
Vote anyway.
Vote anyway.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, if we get that out there, then they'll stop, because you only got so many tricks.
Yeah. And here's the important thing. We're not talking about just during the presidential election.
No.
We're talking about during your mayors, your city council, your wards, your senators, anything that you vote for, trash, whatever.
Aldermen, everything.
Vote everything.
Yep.
Got to put your vote in, because your vote does matter. Kevin, why don't you go ahead and give them a little background so they know that we not two fools on here just yelling at a microphone.
So I'm a native of West Virginia, but I did grow up here in Columbus, Ohio. in 1983. I know that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I joined the United States Army. I don't know why, but I tell you what, that's not something I regret.
Mm-hmm.
So I left Columbus, and I've been all over the United States. I stayed in the Army for 6 years, and then I decided to support my community, the community I was in, and I became a police officer. So for 15 years, I was out there on the grind, working with people, not against them, trying to help and just make somebody's day better than it started out that day. I really loved my job. I had a career-ending injury, and I had to quit. I had to retire from there. So after 15 years, I decided I still want to be connected to the community, but not that community. That's not the community that I owe. The community that made me who I was Columbus. So I came back here to a different Columbus. It certainly was different after 20 years of being away. And but I do really enjoy working in the community, working with young people, giving them a different perspective of what they see right now. Because one thing that I'll tell you when I talk to young people, I'll tell them to get away from your comfort zone. Get away from where you're used to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what saved me. And just getting out and taking risk, and the risk that's going to be a good reward, because everybody takes risk, but there's no sense of taking a risk when there's no reward behind it. So just getting out and experiencing different things and what you are, and then come back and get back to your community. We need to start building our future mentors. We need to start building them up. And so with me doing this podcast and working in different jobs, working in the community with young people, that's always going to be my goal, is to transfer my passion for my community to another person. So if I show them some kind of compassion, some kind of love, then they can be in a position when they get my age or younger to start and to give back to what's made them who they are. So it's going there. Somebody told me years ago, children are going to grow up and they're going to be something. It all depends on what you put in there, what they turn out to be.
Right.
Because they're going to grow up. They're going to get bigger. Me and Hark, we work with some of these kids, and we see them in the newspaper sometime. And regrettably, we do as much as we could. We did as much as we could, and we still try to do it. And it gives us no. It's sad that we recognize some of these kids when they do get older. But we knew back in the day that at some point this 7-year-old, 4'2", 75-pound young man who's wilding out right now is about to be a 6'2", 215-pound grown man wilding out. Yeah. So there has to be some intervention somewhere, and that's where I like to place myself in, trying to intervene. There's nobody. I don't believe in somebody's destiny being set because they're black or poor or both. And somebody said you can go into a hospital nursery, look in the nursery, and be very, very close to predicting what a child is going to end up being based on their race. Crazy. That's incredibly crazy.
That is crazy.
But there's people who actually say that, and I don't believe it. I really don't. Just look at me. I've never been in jail. I've never been in handcuffs, and I don't plan to be in any of those too. But I know how to stay out of them too.
Well, I can't say all that.
Yeah, well, things happen, man. You get pulled over and everything. We already went over that, but sometimes you got to know how to act. But yeah, so my whole purpose is I'm not running for office. I'm not trying to get rich because this ain't the way to do it.
No,
but I'm just trying to give back to a community that gave so much to me and showed me that irregardless of what they saying on the TV, irregardless of what people whisper in your ear about what you can and cannot do, it's a lie. You can do whatever you want to do based on what you have and the support that you get, because everybody needs to be supported. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know where we get this understanding that once a child can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, they can feed themselves.
Right.
That's a lie, because you got to go out and get a job, you got to work.
Got to buy that bread.
You got to be able to sustain yourself. And then everybody is capable of doing that. So that's where I'm at. And hopefully we can encourage some people that hears this to start thinking in that lines, especially younger people.
Right. Well, my background's not as glamorous as Brother Kevin's.
Oh, you the Hark though. So.
No, I tried to follow footsteps of my dad. He was I'm from Canton, Ohio. home of the mighty Camp McKinley Bulldogs, Hall of Fame city. And my father was a reverend, but he also was a social worker chaplain for the state Department of Youth Services. And even when we moved to Pennsylvania, he still went to getting that job. So, you know, I watched my dad. My dad was always my go-to, my source of what I'm supposed to do as a man, as a family man and everything. So whatever he did, I tried to emulate and follow that direction. And I've been doing good so far. So I've always worked with kids because I saw him do it. I used to go speak at on Christmas, I used to go speak with the youth that he worked with, just try to encourage them. I always liked doing that. And in Stark County, we had a juvenile facility before they went to the state, and he would go up in there and talk to them and drop some crazy knowledge. And one thing he said to one of the kids that I still use today, if you get caught doing something you're not supposed to be doing, it means you're not good at it.
Right.
You're not good at doing it.
Do something different.
Right. If you're breaking the law, you're constantly getting caught, that means you're not good at it. Yeah. So don't do it. So I share that with all the young people. So, you know, from there, I worked in the high schools in my hometown. And then, you know, I moved to Columbus. I worked in group homes. I actually worked in that facility he went to speak in one time. When I got to Columbus, before I met you, I was working at an emotionally disturbed school, elementary children. Did that for a while. You came into the fold, and then soon after that, we started our GENT program, which was very, very successful for 6 strong years.
Yep.
Yeah, we had great leadership then too. And the reason why I'm so proud of that is because we struggled to get it started, and then it just exploded to something beautiful, man. We had people from the county being involved. We had the Freemasons getting involved. We had the city. We had the local sports teams getting involved. Everybody started getting involved.
If I can remember, you had dissenters, though. You had people that said it wasn't going to work.
Yep. You
didn't pay no attention to them, but
no, I didn't. But it worked out because even somebody's certain sorority wanted to get involved and get a picture, but you know that was a different situation. Yeah. And it was just crazy, you know. And then you know my father got to come down and see the work, and he was very proud. And there's another moment that stuck out and always resonates in my head that. You know, my dad liked to come and talk to all the little kids. And he went to the kindergarten room and told the kids that, well, he went into the room and one of the teachers said, "This is Mr. Hark's dad." And the kids jumped up and like, "What? Where?" Like surprised that I had a dad.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I said, "Yo, this is my dad." He's like, "What? You got a dad?"
Right.
I mean, they was floored that I had a dad. Right. And I was just like, wow, it's a problem, man. Yeah. It's a problem.
Yeah.
And
because that's not their norm.
Right. Yeah. And you know that also speaks to like how you were saying, like, you know, we did what we could with these kids when we had them. Right. But to see them on the news now, it was a couple months ago, man, and just see them on the news now doing stuff, and you know, the one thing I could do is shake my head. It's like, man, I tried to tell them, but they were young, man. Their brains were jello, man. They wasn't getting all that stuff. Right. So basically, that's me in a nutshell, man. I like to do the community work. I work at rec centers and this, that, and the other, but I don't like doing this work in a controlled environment because they control you. Right. Because I have a lot of ideas, a lot of people that I want to bring in, and it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do this, can't do that. So, you know, what I'm doing now, all the things that I'm getting involved with now is that I'm trying to get back into that community aspect of it and build my own programs and show them how to run them, how to build them, and I can do what the heck I want to do. Right. And if you don't want to be involved with it, please just don't show up anymore. Right. That's how I am with it. Yeah, I'm on a mission.
The people trying to tell you where the bullets is coming from.
Right, right.
You know, but they standing off on the side, and you the ones ducking.
Right. I'm trying to get all the dudes with the bullets to stand beside me.
Exactly.
And some people don't want to do that. Right. They want the bullets to fly. And it's sad to say, we ain't talking about people outside the community. Nope. We're talking about people in the community because egos get involved.
Quest for power is a quest for power.
Right, right. And I see a lot of that in my hometown, man. And I'd be like, dog, y'all from the generation. Right. We was part of the plan. Right. Why haven't y'all got back to it, man? Exactly. And I just don't get it. I mean, they're doing their thing, but there's something missing. And like I said, when we grew up, Canton was a wonderful, beautiful place to be as a kid, man.
Right.
Now it's just like, I'm like, dog, our generation grew up in it. Why don't y'all get it back?
I think that, times have changed. I mean, when technology is in there, the relationships has changed.
Yeah.
With parents. Look at the Black community. Period. How we have 75% of the kids that are born right now, African American descent, are born to single mothers. That doesn't mean that the father is not in the home. Mm-hmm. It just means that they're not married. So so you got to watch numbers, because people use numbers the way they want to use them. Yeah. Because we got some good fathers out there that aren't married to their mothers, but they're doing what they need to do. Mm-hmm. So we can't dismiss them, because if nobody was doing what they're supposed to be doing, we'd be in a lot worse than what we're doing. So I got to tip my hat to those ones that are out there that are working and doing what they need to do. Like my dad. My dad stayed home. Him and my mom was married, and they probably shouldn't have been married as long as they were, but he stood there and he did what he was supposed to do as a father and being a provider.
Right.
So my hat is tipped to those people who are out there doing what they need to do, but we need more. Right. We need those fathers to train their sons to be those fathers when they get older. Right. Not just fathering children, not just having kids all over here. I've known people in their teens having 2 and 3 women pregnant at one time with no job. Yeah. We already know where that's going to lead. Yeah. But they don't want to hear. They don't want to be preached to. And I'm not trying to be no preacher to them. But like you said about those ones that we dealt with in elementary school, we know if you would just listen. But we don't control them, because once they were in school, they was cool. Just like we were there, we would send them home. They was happy. They was jovial, especially in them days that we had them come in and dress up and everything. Right. But then we send them back to that environment to produce these problems that these kids have in the first place. And so it was a give and get. Every time we would give, they would get it when they get home.
Yeah, and we would get it, man, because
and we would have to deal with it when they came back.
Yeah, and even with the parents, man, I know there's been situations I've had in my years working there that parents resented me. Yeah. And anytime they had a chance to call up there and cuss me out or whatever, they took it. But I'm like, I'm trying to help you out. Right. I'm on your team. Yeah. This is the information your child's giving me, and I'm working with what I got.
Yeah, I'm here for your child. I'm not here to tell you what you're doing is right. Because if you're going to ask me, I'm going to tell you it's wrong.
Yeah, because it was wrong.
you definitely don't want to hear it from me, but I'm not here for you. Right. I'm here for your child, which translates to helping you out. Right. Because you sent them to this school, or you relented. You told them they could be here. Right. So it is definitely a constant battle, but we gotta be in there, because we getting shot at anyway.
Right, man. One of the hopes, and like you said, by all means, one of the hopes with this podcast is to try to reconnect those gaps in our communities. Yeah. Connect the gaps between the parents and the kids, so you don't have all that issues, man. Right. Your kids got homework. You went to school. Make sure they're doing homework. Your kid shouldn't be up there talking back to the adults like they're an adult. Right. Your kid has a place. And we have to start reconnecting those things in our communities. Your child has a place. Make sure the child has a place. Right. Your child's place isn't to raise your kids while you sleep or while you're working the night shift or whatever. We understand the situation. But again, we got to start reconnecting our communities to take care of each other like we used to.
One of the things I always make sure that when I come across a young female who's pregnant, I'm not going to badmouth her. It happened. It's here. As my mama say, now what we going to do? Right. But the one thing that I try to get to them, because I am a father of 3, is that when you have a child, you need to get and wrap your mind around the fact that when you have a child, everything you thought your life was going to be has now just changed. Yep. Because it is no longer about you. Right. It's your responsibility to take care of this child and make sure that they have all their needs met. Now, if that means that, and I've heard stories before, if that means that child eats before you eat and you don't get to eat, that's so be it. That's what's going to happen. Then that's what has to happen. A lot of times we see where these young people get into these situations where they have children and they think this is something on the side. Yeah. And this baby's gonna love me. That's not that baby's job. That baby's job is not to love you. That baby's job is to train you into being the best mother or father that you can be. Right. And the thing is, they don't owe you anything. You owe them everything because you decided to bring them into this world. So yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're gonna have some sleepless nights. Yep, right. Yep. You're gonna have to get up at 3:00 in the morning. Right. Or yeah, you're gonna have to split your check, and when you go and pay your daycare and you leave out of daycare and put gas in your car, go home and eat, that's it. Yeah. You're done. Your nails can't be done. Yeah. You know, you're gonna be looking raggedy. You are. But you're gonna have to take care of your child, because if you don't, it's gonna come back on you tenfold. Yeah. And look at these parents on TV crying. Yeah. That, Johnny was doing well. He was trying to get his life back turned around. But at 3:00 in the morning, Johnny was 14 years old and got shot. Right. Riding around with his friends. I'm sorry. 3:00 in the morning, Johnny should have been at work or at home. Yeah. Well, and 14, if he's 14, he should have been out. He should have been at work. Right. So what is he doing out at 3:00 in the morning? Again, you got to be up at 3 in order to make sure Johnny is in at 3, and that's the problem. Right. We got these women, not just women. I'm not bashing on women, but they seem to be the ones who get caught up and rearing these kids because the dudes can just walk away. We got these women who are tired, right? But you have to dig deep, because just look on the news and see what happens if you don't. That's gonna break your heart. I don't know. Thank God I've never had to bury any of my children, and I don't want to. Right. And I can't imagine the horror that goes through. That happens when that occurs. And then we live in a society who has to remind society that Black Lives Matters too. Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
The one thing I used to hate working in the school system, talking to the parents, like, I can't do nothing else with them. Oh. I'm like, dude, you gonna admit defeat right here in front of your kid?
And he's 6.
Yeah. And
he's 12.
He already know we sitting in this meeting because he know he did something, but for you to sit there and say, I can't do nothing with him, what you want me to do with him? When you say that kid is like, I'm good. I already know.
I'm running things now.
I had a couple parents come in there, big dudes, big dads, man. He's like, he don't listen to me. And back then I was like 180. Yeah. Because you know who I'm talking about. He's a big dad, man. This dude's like almost 300 pounds, big dude. He said, he don't listen to me. You listen to him. Yeah. He don't listen to me. And another dad came in. He said, man, he listen to y'all. He don't listen to me. I'm like, dude, you don't admit defeat right here in front of your child, though. Right. And then that first one, man, he locked up. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? He had some good parents, but some kids, we've run across some kids who have some real issues mentally, but then we've also run across some kids who just want to be dimwits. Yep. And that one was one of them, man. Yep. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. I saw him a few years ago in this place, and when we had him at 5th grade. As a 5th grader, he was 245 pounds. Yeah. And like I said, I was like...
He was bigger than me.
Yeah, I was 180 then. So when he went the way he went, we had to address it. But this was like a couple years ago, so I'm 200 plus. Mm-hmm. But he was twice the size he was when we had him as a 5th grader. So I think at this point, he was probably like 17 or 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And he was with a couple of his buddies. Dude. Yeah, I was scared.
But
I was scared of what I was going to have to do to get out of there.
I met him too. Yeah. I met him probably shortly after you did. Yeah. And guess what? He was still that 5th grader. Yeah, yeah. His mind was still that 5th grader. Yeah. Of course, his deeds were at an 18-year-old level. Mm-hmm. And he pays the price. He's paying the price for that.
Yo, he really is.
But his mind was still where he stopped learning. Because like you said, Dad came in and admitted defeat. Yeah. Mom was just as lost as he was. Yeah. And I met Dad later on, lost a lot of weight. Right. But he was about to lose 300 pounds too, because that's what he did. He was like, I'm so close to being 300 pounds lighter by getting rid of you. Right. Because he was causing a lot of issues. Yeah. And that's what happens with our parents. They just get tired. And now we got a 300 pound fifth grader running around at 18 years old thinking that he's cute and can do whatever he wants. And somehow or another, these people who don't care nothing about him, i.e. the society upper echelon, they want to see his big butt locked up.
Yeah.
Because now they're scared.
Yep.
Now they're afraid.
Yep.
You know, even at 200 pounds at 9, 10 years old, I could still deal with you.
Yeah.
But now as a grown man, and like I said, these kids grow up.
Right.
And we've watched them. I've seen them grow up. And if we don't do something with them when they're 10, 9, 8 years old, by the time they're 14, 15 years old, they run in the house.
It's too late.
They run in the house. They telling their mom and dads what they gonna do, what they ain't gonna do. They out here hustling and trying to do. I mean, they stealing cars for whatever reason. They doing whatever they want. They running them up, and then somehow or another, we think that we're gonna be drawing them back in on the same things that we tried to do when they was 10.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So we need to stop. We need to really focus on those young ones to where they can grow up and learn the things that we learn as we're growing up, not inside a jail cell, but inside of a book or inside of a schoolhouse, somewhere that there are people who care about them, their teachers, their mentors, and they can start to learn. Because they're going to learn something. That's what somebody told me when I was working in that school. These kids, they know how to learn. Yeah. They're going to learn something. Yeah. You just got to be in control of what's going in their head.
Yeah. In my many years, one thing I've noticed, because like I said, in our communities, there's a lot of disconnect. If it's not in the family, it's in the school. If it's not in the school, it's in the programs. If it's not in the programs and the schools, disconnect. It's always a disconnect somewhere. And other communities, more suburban communities, they keep everything connected. And I'm talking about, and even with programs that have our children in some of our community in there, and I see better results because they keep the connection going. Yeah. You know, you can't, even if your son is playing football, they don't just have the parents sitting on the sidelines. No, you're going to be goalposts. Yeah. No, we need you to bring this. Oh no, we need
gonna bring the snacks.
Yeah, Dad, we need assistant coaches, Dad. Yeah. We need, and that's that connect. Yeah. Because they're keeping them involved. Because what happens, and like I said, I worked at a lot of rec centers here in Columbus, Ohio, and the thing that you get a lot is we're raising kids. Yeah. They're just dropping off. Like kids are a babysitter. Like parents get mad because they'll try to drop a 4-year-old off. Like, we don't have any programs for a 4-year-old. They say, "Oh, my kids can't come to the center." It's like, well,
But with that though, just as we have to think about what our kids have access to, we just gotta rethink the way we know, right? Because they're gonna be connected. My whole thing is, okay, you gonna drop your 4-year-old off, okay, and you gonna go home and do, okay, that's fine. But if you drop that child off, trust and understand and believe that I'm gonna treat this child like he's my own. Right. They don't want that. So if I tell him to stay in a child's place at 5 years old or 6 years old, you're not in this conversation, that's what he needs to do. That's what she needs to stay in her place. Now, if you got a problem with that, then you take them home. But see, what we got to do is we got to stop abandoning our perspective, our understanding on how to raise a child, because they're not doing it. Right. So if you drop your child off of me, what Cedric Entertainer said, you bringing them my daycare, right? They gonna get hurt. but we gonna teach them the way that we know works. Yeah. So if a child, and I've seen it happen, a child runs up and 2 adults are talking and they just start talking, and it's usually black female. Right. Turn around and say, hey, I don't know what you do at home, but we talking. Right. And if you want to get my attention, you need to excuse yourself. Right. And so we can do that. You can drop your child off. We can do that. Do it consistently. Right. And they know, and you've seen it before, especially working where we work. They act differently with us than they act at home. Oh yeah. So if you want your child to stay 12 hours at this rec center, guess what he gonna go through? Right. He gonna go through some rearing. Right. Because he's gonna come in, he's gonna take his hat off when he's supposed to. He's gonna address people the way he's gonna. He's gonna keep that foul language out of his mouth. Right. Or he gonna be at your house. Right. Because in my house where I work, this is the way it's going to work. Right. So that's the way that when I say mentoring, when I say us as a community, we got to stop abandoning or giving away our power because we're focused too much on what parents aren't doing.
Right.
If you bring them to me, I'm going to be the parent.
Right.
And trust and believe, I ain't going to put my hands on it because I ain't trying to go to jail.
Right.
But if I knock on your door and little Johnny's standing next to me, he done messed up.
Right.
And I'm going to need you to carry on. I'm going to need you to say, I don't want you to say, well, Mr. Harkless is wrong and blah, blah, blah. He shouldn't be talking to you like that. I want you to say, when a grown person is talking to you,
Right.
this is what you're supposed to do. Now, if you don't like it, you come home and tell me about it. But in the meantime, you need to do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So you're just, the parent needs to help us out. But when you with me,
Connected.
I'm not your mom. I used to ask him all the time, and I seen you do it before. Do I look like your mom?
Right.
Because I think you just done got confused.
Right.
Because
Right.
you said something that you would say to your mama, and that's between you and your mom.
Right.
And I'm standing here.
Right.
So I think we can do that.
Yeah. And like I said, it's that connection that's missing, man.
Right.
Man, how many kids we done have? Like, I'm gonna tell my mom and dad on you. I'm like, tell them. I'm grown.
I'm not scared of your mom.
Yeah.
You are. You apparently ain't. Because
Right.
you sitting here talking to me wrong.
Right. I'm gonna tell them about the chair you just threw at me.
Right.
And I said, if me and your dad want to box after that, we can box.
Right.
But rest assured, when you tell your parents whatever you gonna tell them,
I'm gonna tell them.
I'm gonna tell them the truth.
Right.
And that's where the problem gonna lay.
If they're gonna be a parent, then they're gonna call me and they're gonna
Right.
ask me what happened.
I'm like, I want you to call your parents because they didn't come up here for parent-teacher conferences.
Right.
So,
The only time I see them is when you wild out.
right. And they don't want to come in.
Right.
They mad. They used to get mad when we suspend them, send them home.
Yeah, oh, you didn't want them at the
Yeah,
house?
yeah.
No.
Yeah, we had situations because what our school did, like I said, our school was for emotionally disturbed children. So if they couldn't function properly for whatever reason in a regular classroom, they were sent back. They were sent to our school. We did whatever we had to do as far as education to try to get them on task mentally to function in the classroom with whatever problems they were having. And then what we do is send them back to a satellite room, and then they'll eventually get back to the regular classroom. That's the goal.
Right.
But we were so good at our jobs that parents didn't want to sign them out
No.
because they said, when my kids here, you don't call me. Y'all take care of it.
Right.
When they go to regular school, they call me. They don't take care of it.
Right. They come get your child.
Right.
Right.
And that's another disconnect. That's the only reason why they want to support us.
It's for a single parent, I don't blame them.
Right.
Because you at work and somebody call you and say, you got to come get your child. Well, excuse me, I'll lose my job if I just leave right now. Oh, we don't care nothing about that. We need you to come get your child.
Right.
We've heard of parents losing their jobs because their child wilding out at school. When they come to our school, oh, ma'am, I'm just calling you to let you know what happened.
Right.
Oh, you don't need me to come get them? Nope. Oh, I'm good. Click.
I think
because
we
we
were
helping.
too good at our job.
Yeah, we were helping. We were helping the parents. I think in the community, we can do that as well.
Yeah.
We can help these parents. Football coaches, they help their parents all the time. Why? Because they want that kid at football. If you're doing wrong, I don't need to see you at practice.
Right.
If you mess up in school, if you got suspended, I don't want to see you at practice. So that's a part of that rearing that I went through. When I played football, I played in Little League and all that stuff. That's a part of it. And that's a lot of the stuff that's being missed in the Black community right now. We got 12-year-olds don't know nothing about playing sports. There's something with that. There's something that's being missed. When these kids, I watched some kids one time and I dealt with teenagers, my last job. They play basketball on PlayStation like they playing on the court.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, do you really realize that three you just made, that's a computer-generated 3-point? No, don't tell them that because then you messing up their self-esteem. Oh, I'm sorry. We going to the gym today.
Right.
Because I'm going to let you know that every shot that you shooting right now that you making, you going to miss.
Right.
3% of them you going to make.
Right.
So we need to bring these kids back into reality, and they're missing something. They're missing that. And I know you've seen them probably as you've gotten older. Kids that don't understand failure. They think failure is a crushing thing, and they don't know how to deal with it. And that's because they've been living in a superficial world, that everything is computer generated, and all they got to do is push reset. You're going to fail. And these kids don't understand that you will fail in your relationships. When you get a job, it may not be the best job that you get.
You're going to get fired.
You're going to get fired.
Burn that popcorn.
Everybody's not going to love you when you get to work. They're really not going to really talk to you. They're not going to care about why you late. Right. They just going to know you're late. But when they don't experience that growing up, when they don't experience that when they don't experience that disappointment, I'm not talking about that being poor and not being able to eat because they understand that.
Yeah.
But it's that when I made an effort and it just didn't go over. I didn't get a trophy for showing up. You know, when we get to that point, and then they get to be 20, 21 years old, and their girlfriend tell you, I don't love you no more, then they lose their mind. Or their boyfriend tell you, oh, nah, you got pregnant? Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know, what you gonna do? What you mean? So we're not preparing them for those life things that happen. And that's when you see these kids not understanding how to deal with confrontation, and all I got is a gun.
Yeah.
And you done said something about my mama.
Yeah.
And I catch you slipping because you went to a party. And I see you, and the kids got a saying on site, which means ain't gonna be no arguing.
Right.
You understand why I'm here standing there with a gun in my hand about to take your life. And it's just that simple, because I don't know how to deal with it any other way. You know, we don't throw hands no more. We out here shooting each other, killing each other over trivial stuff. Right. And people getting caught in the middle.
Right.
I would not want my kid going to a bingo hall right now with folks coming in getting mad, getting the shooting places up. And then the news cycle, every time it happens now, it's on the news. So now it's a contest. How many deaths can Columbus have versus Chicago or New York? Or you know,
I noticed that.
It seems like it's a contest. But again, we go back to that. How does that mess up your community? Yeah, it's not.
It's funny how you said that, man. Early on, when I had started the gentleman program we were doing, probably maybe the third year in, when it was really starting to gain some steam, I reached out to a news reporter or whatever through email. We were going back and forth, and I'm just like, man, I got this great thing going on over here. You know, might be a good story for you, might help you out, blah, 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 blah. So she kept sending me email, give me more details. I'm like, so I told her everything. It's emotionally disturbed children. We got them tying ties. They don't have motor skills. Kids can't even spell their names. Blah, blah, blah. Kids, fifth graders that read on the kindergarten level. Right. And they're understanding hygiene. I mean, I was giving her everything that we was doing. I need more details and angle. So finally I was like, well, I don't understand. What more do you need? And she said, if I present it to the producers, they're going to want more information and more angles in order to make it a story, or they're not going to do it. So I said, look, you report every day about kids in the city shooting each other, crimes, whatever. I got this glory story about these kids who got every single ADD, every single diagnosis in this school. Right. And I said, these fools can't push you over here to do a story for us. Never got that story. But the one time the news did come out, when we did have something, they only came and talk to the soccer team. They didn't talk to us.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Right. Yeah.
And again, for me, going in the community to work with youth, it's not for me, because I don't care if they come out or not. Right. I truly don't. Now, what you were trying to do is you were trying to get some positive press for what these kids were doing in a positive manner. Right. And I applaud you for that. And you see how that worked out. Right. But we just got to keep going and go, look, eventually they'll have to, because the numbers are going to change. Yeah. You know, we were talking one day about the I don't know if it was the mayor or the city council decided, because somebody asked the mayor, what can we do about these killings? And 85% of these people that have died have been African American, have been slain by African Americans or whatever. And of course that hits the news every time somebody gets killed or whatever. But it's like when you come out to our community and you see, I want you to see everything. I want you to see everything that people are doing, not just that stuff that bleed stuff. That if it bleeds, it leads. You know, the negative stuff is what you want to hear, but it's going to change. It can't, because they wanted to give like $10 million, and they asked the mayor or somebody, what can we do? Oh, we can get $10 million to Parks and Rec so they can open up for more basketball. And my thing was, I was like, wait a minute. You didn't just say that our kids are out here killing each other because they can't go to a basketball game. Right. That ain't just what you said. Right. Because to say that means that you have no understanding of what the problem is out here and there, but you control the purse strings. How about you take that $10 million and pay off every student from Ohio State or any college in Columbus or in the state of Ohio, pay off their loans and tell them that you got to go into the community and give them a certain amount of hours of volunteer work, and you got to show us that for the next 5 or 10 years, and we'll pay all of your student loans off. Because 10 years from now, you still going to be paying them student loans.
Yeah.
So you're going to be doing something.
Right.
You're going to be volunteering for the government by staying working, or you're going to volunteer for us, and you gotta show that that's what you're doing, and you're being a positive role model to those kids.
Yep.
$10 million.
Yep.
You just paid off. My daughter never be able to pay off her loans. It's over $100,000.
How much money would they save by doing that?
Whole lot.
So much.
A whole lot of money.
Yeah.
$10 million to Parks and Recs. That ain't nothing but a raise for some people.
All you gotta do is give up 2 hours, 6 hours a week, if that. Just show that you're doing it.
And you're getting these people coming out of college, people who know where you got to go. You're going to college. You don't go to college because you just want to be in school. You got a goal. You're trying to do something. I don't care if you got a degree in underwater basket weaving. You made a goal.
Right.
And if we pay that off for you in 10 years, I know some people right now that are working at a nonprofit to get their school loans paid off.
Oh, I'll jump on that because that'll get a lot of things out of default for me.
It's a whole man. There are people out here with college degrees that can't afford a home because they got $100,000. They got a home. They paying $1,500 a month just trying to pay off what they got.
Yeah,
and they're not making 6-7 figures.
Yeah, it's crazy that you go to school for 4 or 5 years because you got a goal, and the only thing you come out with is debt. Because you still got to go get that job. You got to go. You got to work now. Yeah. You go get it. And then there's no guarantee you're going to like the job that you went to school for. I know people with college degrees making $15, $16 an hour. Dude, I've worked with people. I used to date this woman. She went to the Army. She was a dancer. She had her own catering business at one point. She had all these degrees. And I'm like, why are you working as a part-time secretary in elementary school? Yep. I'm like, there's something wrong with this picture. Yep. I'm like, you got all this right here in front of you. You can't go anywhere because what's the point? Right. I mean, you might be making $60,000, $70,000 a year, but you're paying $1,500 a month for a student loan that you ain't never going to be able to pay off. Right. And she was living at the crib too. Let me take that away from you, and all you got to do is give up your time to your community. Yeah. And you come in, and then I'm not telling you to be in charge or nothing. I'm just telling you to spend some time and use what you've gotten from somebody and give it to somebody else. Give it to one of these kids. Show them some compassion. Show them that it's possible. Show them somebody that looks like them that's successful. Yeah. You know, they're looking at gymnasts, and basketball players and, athletes. Those are God-given talents. I'm sorry. And I know you've seen athletes before that are at the top of their game that ain't been in the league. Mm-hmm. They don't make it. So, but we got kids. We got kids idolizing some of these people, and they're playing them in a game. So you're not even doing what they're doing. I took some kids one time to a stadium, and I said, you see so-and-so, and they on the NFL, they're in the NFL right now, and they're playing at the top of their game. You see all these stairs? They probably ran every last one of them. Yeah. And you can't even walk up them. Right. So you talking about that's where you going. You're not. And I'm not trying to crush your dream. I'm just trying to make it realistic. You got to put in some work. Yeah. And if they don't, then we need to, because again, when they get older and they get that realization that it's not going to work, that's when they get angry. Yeah. That's when they get angry. Not able to process rejection. And then when they get angry, the only thing that they know how to do is lash out. Yep. And it's somebody else's fault. It's not mine. Yep. No accountability. Ultimately, you're held accountable for what you are and what you do. You can blame your parents. Yeah. But ultimately, when you get to be an adult, the government is going to hold you accountable. So our community is going to hold you accountable. Right. So, I don't have all the solutions. And if we have somebody out there listening to have some solution to what our community is going through, then by all means, reach out and let us know. We'll put you on. Oh yeah. We'll put you out there, and if there's a community association out there who want some people to maybe volunteer, reach out to us. We'll put you out there. Right. Because there's a lot of good people out here working. Yeah.
And they don't get the recognition that they deserve. And sometimes they sell their soul to a politician because the politician came down and touted their name to get them votes, and then they go away and they don't come back for another 4 years. But then we're going through all this. So hopefully we can generate some dialogue, we can generate some action. And this is all be for all that money that Mr. Hark is paying me to be working. You know,
and that bottle of water you sipping on over there.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, we don't have the answers. We're not singling out anybody, but we are pointing out several issues in our community that can be fixed on a large scale, not just here in Columbus. These are issues we're having in every city, in every black community across this country. And it's just a lot of disconnect. There's a lot of things that our children are missing. They're missing things that does not take a lot of money.
Oh,
that's the one thing. It doesn't take money. You don't let money or somebody else raise your child.
Right.
We're just trying to get solutions, and we trying to get the means to support it. So that's what, by all means necessary, is about.
Just don't believe the hype.
Don't believe it.
I mean, we as long as we're willing and able to do it, then it's possible.
Right.
If we stop, then it is impossible.
Right.
If those of us who know better don't do better, then it's impossible. Because the ones that don't know better, they gonna do.
I tell my wife when we talking about, I can't say who we talk about, but when, certain people are doing something or they say something, and I'm like, babe, they don't know better until they know better.
Right.
And that's just a fact.
It look crazy to you because you know better.
Right.
It's like, why would you jump in somebody's car and it's running and you don't even know if that person is watching their car? Now you're looking down the barrel of a gun. See, I already knew that was possible. That's why I don't do that. But now you're in a bad situation because you didn't know no better. You didn't think that people really, really love their cars.
Right.
And they don't want you in it.
Right.
Uninvited. And just same thing and you walk in somebody's house.
Right.
I'm knocking hard on people's door when I go over their crib.
Right.
I don't want no problems. But we know better. And we the ones who know better, not know everything, but know better, we have to lend our wisdom out. That doesn't make us smarter. That just makes us survivors. And this whole police killing folk and black folks killing each other and drugs in the neighborhood and all the things and all the ills that plague our community didn't just start happening when George Floyd got killed.
No, it didn't.
It's been around for 400 years, and we should be experts on knowing better. Right. Because we can do it.
Yeah. Hey, you have an Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a Twitter?
I barely know what Twitter is.
Well, give me your Instagram so, once we get moving, people can hit you up on your Instagram.
I think it's KJazz at 1990.
KJazz 1990?
Yep.
All right. And you can reach me at, my Twitter is MSTAJ_HARK. And you can even hit me at my 2 Harks Instagram, which is at 2 Harks, the number 2, HARKS. You can hit me up for By All Means Necessary. You can even hit me up for the Thursday podcast. We always welcome the dialogue, questions, anything like that. Feel free to drop us a line in the inbox and follow us, and we'll definitely get back to you and address whatever concerns or issues or questions that you have.
Cool.
Sound good, brother?
Sound good. We'll see you on the other side.
Oh, yes, we sure will. 5 on the black hand side.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Kevin Jackson.
My man.
It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal.
Hark,
That the rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened.
Do you understand the power this gives us?